Please subscribe the channel and hit the like. Luhansk Oblast. Russian and Ukrainian forces reportedly conducted limited ground attacks along the Kupiansk-Svatov line on July 12. Geolocated footage shows that Russian forces have advanced further east of Kotlyarivka as of July 11. The Russian MOD claimed that Russian forces repelled Ukrainian ground attacks near Novoselivsk and Karmazanivka. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive actions near Novoselivsk. Russian and Ukrainian forces continued skirmishes in the Kreminna area, where Russian forces reportedly made limited gains as of July 12. Geolocated footage published on July 12 indicates that Russian forces do not hold positions in Torsky despite Russian milblogger claims to the contrary. Russian milbloggers largely claimed that Russian forces broke through Ukrainian positions in Torsky and advanced up to the eastern outskirts of the settlement. Russian milbloggers also claimed that elements of the 21st Motorized Rifle Brigade, 2nd Combined Arms Army, Central Military District, captured a height east of Nevsk near the Zurovka Gully, and that Ukrainian forces launched counterattacks to attempt to retake the positions. The Ukrainian General Staff claimed that Russian forces conducted unsuccessful ground attacks near Vasyl. The Russian MOD claimed that Russian forces repelled Ukrainian ground attacks near Torsky, Zolotorivka, Verkhnokamienka, and Sieverne. Donetsk Oblast. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations in the Bakhmut area on July 12. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations north and south of Bakhmut. Ukrainian General Staff spokesperson Andriy Kovalev reported that Ukrainian forces achieved partial success in the Bila-Orikhovo-Vasylivka and Bila-Orikhovo-Vasylivka directions. A Russian milblogger claimed that Ukrainian forces gained a foothold on a height east of Orikhovo-Vasylivka and have almost reached the E40 Bakhmut-Slavyansk highway. Another milblogger claimed that Ukrainian forces attacked the southwestern outskirts of Berkivka. A Kremlin-affiliated milblogger claimed that Ukrainian forces broke through Russian defenses close to Berkivka but that Russian artillery units forced Ukrainians to retreat. The Russian MOD claimed that units of the Russian Southern Group of Forces repelled Ukrainian attacks near Sieverne, Vasyl, Sil, Klishchiivka, and Avdiivka. Russian forces counterattacked Ukrainian positions in the Bakhmut area on July 12. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces repelled Russian attacks near Hryhorivka and east of Orikhovo-Vasylivka. Several Russian milbloggers claimed that Russian forces counterattacked Ukrainian positions on the northern outskirts of Klishchiivka and pushed Ukrainian units from the outskirts of the settlement and Klishchiivka's surrounding dominant heights. Russian and Ukrainian forces conducted ground attacks along the Avdiivka-Donetsk City line on July 12. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces continued to repel Russian attacks near Avdiivka, Pervomaiske, Nevelske, Marinka, Pobieda, and Novomykhailivka. The Russian MOD claimed that units of the Russian Southern Group of Forces repelled Ukrainian attacks near Vodyane, Pervomaiske, and Krasnohorivka. Russian Southern Group of Forces spokesperson Vadim Astafeyev claimed that units of the Russian Southern Group of Forces destroyed Ukrainian infantry units attempting to break through Russian defenses in the direction of Vodyane. A Russian milblogger claimed that Russian forces attacked towards Lastochkyne but have not entered the settlement. Another milblogger claimed that Russian forces launched unsuccessful offensive operations near Sieverne and on the outskirts of Krasnohorivka. Zaporizhzhia-Donetsk Oblast. Russian sources claimed that Ukrainian forces conducted limited ground attacks in western Donetsk Oblast on July 12. The Russian MOD claimed that Russian forces repelled a Ukrainian assault in the direction of Petrovsk. The Russian MOD also claimed that Russian forces stopped Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance groups near Solidka and Volodar. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations along the administrative border between Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk oblasts on July 12 and reportedly made gains in the area. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations in the Berdyansk direction, Zaporizhzhia-Donetsk Oblast border area. An Ukrainian Tavrius Group of Forces spokesperson Major Valery Shershin stated that Ukrainian forces achieved partial success in this direction and advanced along the front line. The Russian MOD claimed that Russian forces repelled a Ukrainian assault near Staromayorsk and thwarted a Ukrainian reconnaissance in-force operation near Rivnopil. A Russian milblogger claimed that Ukrainian forces are advancing north and south of Pryatyn. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Russian forces unsuccessfully counterattacked towards Vodyane. Ukrainian forces continued limited mechanized assault operations in western Zaporizhia Oblast on July 12. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations in the Melitopol direction, western Zaporizhia Oblast. The Russian MOD claimed that Russian forces repelled 2 Ukrainian assaults near Robotyne. Russian milbloggers claimed that Ukrainian infantry attacked with armored vehicle support near Robotyne and in the direction of Verbov, and amplified footage purporting to show Russian forces striking Ukrainian armored vehicles in the Orikhovo direction. Russian milbloggers claimed that Ukrainian forces continued assaults overnight from July 11 to 12, with one milblogger claiming that Ukrainian forces stopped assaults in the area as of the morning of July 12. One milblogger claimed that Ukrainian forces continued attacks on a seam of the Russian defense between positions of the 291st and 70th Motorized Rifle Regiments. Russian milbloggers claimed that Ukrainian forces entered Russian trench positions in the area and advanced by up to 1 kilometer north of Robotyne. A prominent Russian milblogger claimed that Russian forces counterattacked northeast of Robotyne and pushed Ukrainian forces out of one of the strongholds of the 71st Motorized Rifle Regiment. Russian milbloggers claimed that Ukrainian forces also conducted several unsuccessful assaults near Zerobyanki and Pyatikaki. Zaporizhia Oblast occupation head Yevgeny Balitsky described Ukrainian assaults in the area as a large-scale offensive, although Zaporizhia Oblast occupation deputy Vladimir Rogov stated a few hours earlier that reports of Ukrainian offensive in the area are false. The Ukrainian General Staff confirmed that Ukrainian forces conducted a direct strike on a hotel in Berdyansk, occupied Zaporizhia Oblast, which Russian sources claimed was the site of the 58th Combined Arms Army headquarters. Russian sources claimed that the July 11 Ukrainian Storm Shadow cruise missile strike on the 58th Combined Arms Army headquarters killed Southern Military District Deputy Commander Lieutenant General Oleg Tsokov. ISW assesses that Tsokov's presence at the reported command post of the 58th CAA suggests that he was personally overseeing the army responsible for repelling Ukrainian counteroffensives in key sectors of western Zaporizhia Oblast. Russian sources claimed that Ukrainian forces also struck the outskirts of Tokmak with cluster munitions on July 11. Russian sources claimed that Ukrainian forces conducted the strikes with Western-provided cluster munitions and argued that Ukrainian forces waited until the announcement of the transfer of the munitions to use them. Ukrainian forces have their own stocks of non-Western cluster munitions, and ISW has not seen visual confirmation that Ukrainian forces struck Tokmak on July 11. Russian milbloggers claimed that Ukrainian forces continue to maintain positions on the east, left, bank of Kherson Oblast near the Antonivsky Bridge as of July 12. A prominent milblogger claimed that the Ukrainian grouping on the left bank is not conducting offensive operations and that Russian forces are located a few hundred meters to the south. Another milblogger claimed that Russian forces have stopped assaults near the Antonivsky Bridge because of Ukrainian artillery superiority in the area. Russian forces are using naval assets to resolve traffic jams at the Kerch Strait Bridge. Russian Navy Commander Maxim Ryklov stated on July 11 that the Russian Navy deployed 2 large landing ships to act as vehicle ferries in the Kerch Strait after the Russian Ministry of Transport requested the Navy's help in cases of large traffic congestion in the direction of Crimea. ISW previously assessed that an influx of Russian tourists to Crimea generated serious traffic jams along one of Russia's most important ground lines of communication.